action.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take out your family or business and benefit current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Welcome back. Mary Gaston, Realty Pro 100. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we're celebrating today. Boy, there's a lot of celebrating items today, especially for someone who's beaten anorexia. National Raisin Bran Cereal Day, and I know I'm old, but I remember Yul Gibbons. He used to do all the Raisin Bran commercials, probably in the 80s, 70s, 90s, something. I don't know, way back when. I know no one remembers it, but old people will. National Raisin Bran Cereal Day, Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. You know, if it's a cookie, that's probably a good likelihood that I like it. Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. And I just learned something new. Well, I'm always learning something new. National Bunt Day. And Mary was good enough to share. Who is it that's given?
Nothing Bundt Cakes. I got an email. I think it said buy one stack of like Buntinis, get one free.
Okay. Check it out.
I think.
Okay, we're going to check it out. I'll be checking it out because, you know, if you can get, you ever had Bundt Cakes? I like Bundt. Do you like Bundt Cakes?
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, they're good. They come with a lot of flavors. There's right down there in Palomar where we used to broadcast from, there was a Nothing Bundt Cake Day or store. Nothing Bundt store. Used to get me in all kinds of trouble. Let's see, what else? Clean out your refrigerator day. Well, I do that every day. Just ask my wife. She gets mad at me all the time about it. And yes, I know this is probably one just for our president because, you know, he's got a single focus. You know, I think I've got a grandchild that's kind of like the president. No. The president's older than 2.5. But single track mind. I mean, you look at the world blowing up right now, and not only in Israel and not only in Ukraine, but we've got it the streets of America, and the president's worried about, is it going to be 85 degrees or 85.5 degrees? Right? All he cares about is climate change. Unbelievable.
It is what it is.
Today's America Recycles Day. I wonder if he's going to be worrying about that one. Maybe... You know, I noticed that he's in San Francisco right now. Did you notice that they actually cleaned up the city just because he and Xi Jinping are there? I don't know why, of all the places in the entire world they want to go to, they went to San Francisco. Can't figure that one out. Of course, what would the motorcade done if they had to go to Los Angeles, being that the freeway is closed? That must be a lot of fun. Los Angeles traffic and then having one of the big freeways closed for a few weeks. Not pleasant. That didn't impact your drive, does it?
Not when you leave at 4:30 in the morning.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you leaving at 4:30 in the morning to be right here on Ron Siegel Radio.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see what the markets are doing. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 130 points. The S&P 500 is up 11. NASDAQ is up 34. Oil's down 89 cents a barrel. I got paid $4.50 a gallon for gasoline yesterday. Although even though the state average is 5.04, 5.05. Nevada, 436. You're down another couple pennies, Josh. 334 is the national average. Of course, we like taxes and fees here in California, so we're paying more than the rest of the country. Let's see what going on. The 10-year Treasury. I told you this yesterday. The 10-year Treasury is up 10 basis points right now. As I mentioned yesterday, and I share this, whether the market is up or the market is down. The market will always, the only thing I can guarantee you about the market, the bond market, stock market, any of them, the only thing I really guarantee at any time is the markets will overreact. So yesterday we got a good CPI report. Market overreacted. It did, the bond market, the bonds dropped. The 10-year Treasury dropped dramatically. The mortgage-backed securities went up dramatically, which means that the rates went down yesterday. And when we get to the mortgage minute, we'll see that every one of the rates were down nice amounts yesterday. But we're going back the other way today. That's the way it always works. So we're going to watch that for you. Hopefully, we'll just based on technical readings, we're going to get a little bit better news. We'll see what happens there. Hard to say. But you know what? Right now, especially, you got the things that are going on in the markets from a financial standpoint, but all of the geopolitical issues. And every time you see another headline come out, you have no idea which direction is going to go because you can't forecast geopolitical issues. Just throwing it out there. What's going to come of this summit that's going on? It's called the Asian Pacific Economic Conference over there in San Francisco. What's going to come out of that? Can't really tell. What's going to come out of the issues going on? And I'll throw a prediction out there. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to throw a prediction out there. Because of the weakness that we see in the current president and the way that China and Xi Jinping wants to take over and be the economic power of the world. Do you remember what happened when Xi Jinping was at Mar-a-Lago with President Trump and they launched 59 missiles into the Middle East while they were at dinner? Don't want to say that's going to happen again, but I certainly wouldn't be the one that's surprised if it does. Just throwing out that power out there and that's what China wants to see. They want to show that they're the powerful one. Now, the fact of the matter is they're struggling. They're struggling more than anybody. They could be on the verge of collapse. Yes, you heard it here. They could be on the verge of collapse. Their economy is so bad that, yes, they are a communist country. They're actually seizing assets of some of their wealthiest individuals to try and keep the country afloat. Could you imagine a country the size of China? Now, what else are they doing? Well, China is keeping Russia afloat, Iran afloat. Others, some of the other bad actors around the world, they're the ones that are keeping them afloat, and they're having their own economic troubles. So what does a wounded animal do? Yeah, they kind of get a little feisty. So got to watch out for all these things that are going on in the world. And our economy now, everywhere you look, even though they're not going to tell you this from the White House, everywhere you look, our economy is slowing down. Now, we're going to see, we got the retail sales number. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But every number that comes from our government, I've been telling you this right along, is getting revised after they come out. Every single number. Now, there's one number that they don't revise, and we're going to talk about that in the Mortgage Minute, and that's going to give us a better indication of what's really happening in retail sales, aside from all the noise and garbage that we get from the government. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, the millennial and the old man, we're going to talk about the real estate world, what's going on, the latest 2024 housing market forecast. Easy for me to say. We're going to talk about that. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and market connection.
Hey there, friends. Wondering if now is the right time to buy a home? Or are you waiting for a bunch of foreclosures? The facts speak loud and clear. Defaults and foreclosures are down. Sure, we might be headed towards a recession. But did you know interest rates typically drop and real estate values often go up during a recession? So what are you waiting for? Higher prices or higher payments? Don't navigate these waters alone. Connect with RonSiegelRadio.com today. That's RonSiegelRadio.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They do not tell us APR, points paid, points received, just the locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Yesterday, conforming loans locked 7.338 the 30-year. That was down. The jumbo loan down 7.632, 30-year jumbo fixed. 30-year FHA 7.142. 30-year USDA, that's generally the rural areas, no down payment, 7.125. And the best loan on the market, down by the most of all, well, pretty much the most of all of them, that would be the 30-year VA loan, 7.007. And every morning, as early as we get the data, we put out our market commentary. You can get it for free, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. We send an email out, usually at just a couple of pages, just a brief overview of what's going on in the marketplace. Share our thoughts right there for you. But let's see what's going on today. S&P 500, that is now up 8.81. And if my screen will refresh, I'll be able to tell you what the bond market is doing. The 10-year Treasury up 12 basis points. A little odd based on some technicals that we'll be watching. The mortgage-backed securities are down 26 basis points. And what's driving it? Remember, when the mortgage bond goes down, that means rates are up. So yesterday, that bond was up about 90 basis points. Really nice. Rates were down a lot. So now we're flipping that. So we're recovering a little bit from what happened yesterday. Let's talk about the markets. The October Producer Price Index. So this is the wholesale level. It ended up flowing into the PPE and the CPI reports. Those are the consumer reports. Showed that overall producer inflation decreased by 0.5%, which was much lower than the estimates of 0.1%. Largest decline since April of 2020. Year over year, producer inflation fell from 2.2 to 1.3. Again, well below the estimates of 1.9. Bureau of Labor Statistics said that over 80% of October decline in PPI goods is attributes to the drop in prices for gasoline, except in California. Core rate, which strips out food and energy prices, was flat, which is also much lower than the market consensus of a 0.3% rise. Year over year, core inflation fell from 2.7 to 2.4, while it was expected to remain at 2.7. Overall, much cooler. Are you feeling that at the grocery store? I'm not hearing about anybody that says they're feeling price savings, that the inflation is slowing down when they go grocery shopping. And we'll see what happens with the Thanksgiving holiday. After yesterday's CPI report, the market is now expecting the Fed to turn the car around and cut rates soon, not increase rates any longer. January odds of a hike went from 30% to 2%. Not very likely. March, odds of a hike went from 14% to a 33% chance of a rate cut in March. May, the odds first crossed 50-50 of a cut in May at 85%, was June was previously. So now June is 100% pricing in a cut for June of next year. Yeah, if you were listening to Ron Siegel Radio, you probably heard me say for the last 4 or 5 months, second quarter 2024, that's where we're going to see these numbers. Retail sales in October fell 0.1%, bit stronger than the 0.2% fall expected. Previously, reading of a 0.7 was also revised once again, revised higher to 0.9. But here's the issue. the BLS can go and give us all these numbers, and I, as you know, I take the L out of that all the time, just the BS report. They give us all these numbers. The thing that they can't fudge on, sales tax numbers have been declining. Sales tax, right? So when the states get their sales tax, they know exactly what's going on in the retail sales world, and those numbers have been declining. So we're watching all of those. Mortgage Bankers Association released their mortgage application data for last week, showing interest rates were unchanged. Remember, that's old data, so that's just the way that works. Purchase applications rose 3% last week after rising 3% the previous week, still down 12% year over year. Refinances rose 2% for the second week in a row, down 7% for the year. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You've got the phone. Make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Every month about this time, Mary Gaston, Realty Pro 100, comes in and joins us, and we chat. We kind of fitting this morning when we had the Raisin brand commentary. It's apropos, right? Because I asked Mary and Josh before the program if they knew about who Yule Gibbons were, and they both gave me the same exact answer. Who? Right? And they were doing their owl impression, showing that I am old, and that's why they're the millennials. So we're going to talk about these issues. And there's a lot going on here that we want to chat about within this new report. But before we get to the report, there's a lot of noise going on right now in real estate. And we're not going to get into what all this noise is, but I do want to share my one opinion here, and it's my opinion, and I'm generally right. But I'm going to just give it to you anyway. Here it is. So if you're thinking about buying real estate, you can go out and do it on your own. Probably not going to get a great result. You can go out and find an agent. And a lot of agents out there know what's going on. The good agents, they understand what's going on. The great agents, that's the ones you want to work with. They can actually explain what's going on in this marketplace from all different areas because they're doing it every day. They're working with firms that understand what's going on, and they're able to help you understand what's going on in a marketplace that, quite honestly, can be pretty confusing. So, don't just go to somebody that you found on a dartboard, right? You want to know somebody that's really going and doing in the business, understanding what's going on. And we're going to go through a whole set of reports that we get every single month. Actually, some of us look at these every single week, various items in here. But Mary and I chat about this one report every single month, and we just go through a lot of it and see what the old man's perspective is and what the millennial perspective is. Let's get started. Sean Dobson, CEO Amherst. I'd say whatever our forecast is, it was wider range of error than normally there would have been. We're just at a point in the housing market to where I don't think anyone really knows what to tell you. But we can't ignore inventory remains down over 40% since pre-pandemic numbers. You seeing anything different than that?
No.
We had a guest on yesterday, and she shared something that we've talked about at this office many times. 1,620 homes in Orange County available for sale.
Sounds about right.
And the norm is about 6,000.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, what's crazy too is I think this morning I saw something that because inventory this time of year normally starts falling.
Right.
It's not, because how much lower can it really go?
Yeah,
it's like the 1 year it's not falling compared to the previous.
Yeah, when you're looking at down 75%, where do you go from there?
Exactly. Like you really hit rock bottom if we're falling right now.
And those people that have a property out there, those folks are actually, if you've got a house for sale right now, you're serious.
Yes.
Right? I mean, I appreciate you coming in here. You probably have better things to do with the holidays and all that.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Right? I mean, and that's the same thing with home buyers and sellers. They really don't want to have their house set it up as a museum for the holidays. Right? Unless they're getting relocated or divorced or having a baby and need to get a bigger property or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, we get a lot of idiots in the media. I shouldn't say that because I'm in the media, but I'm not one of the idiots, I guess.
Yeah,
at least I hope. Pardon?
Is it debatable?
Sound like one of my kids. Okay. So values of real estate are dropping dramatically.
Are they?
Well, Diana Olick is telling us all the time on CNBC. right? Are you seeing that anywhere?
No.
Now, last year we've got charts that we show this, and Josh, do you have the charts available there? The 5, yeah, there. Well, he's already ahead of me. The chart right here, you can see this chart if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. You're actually seeing a chart last year. Now let's go back. Historically, real estate values go up 3 to 4% nationally.
Yes.
Orange County about 5.3 historically. Now, when we look at this chart, the first January of last year up 1.6, February up 1.9. If my math is correct, that's 3.5. March was up 2. Now we're at 5.5. So by March, we were up at more than the whole year should have been combined. A little hotter than normal at the beginning of the year. Fair, right? I mean, we're just looking at numbers. Not abnormal to see that, kind of come back to a normal year.
Yep.
Right? And we're seeing that. This year, every month has been up. So we're not really seeing anything abnormal other than maybe some of the idiots on CNBC that don't know that this is a normal issue.
Yeah.
Right. What do you do? Do any of your peers listen to something like CNBC? No. Okay.
I feel like most millennials listen to TikTok.
TikTok. Okay. So thank goodness I don't think Diana looks on TikTok. That's an interesting conversation, though. So where are they going to go if some of the Congress people get their way and TikTok gets banned?
Instagram.
Back to Instagram?
Yeah.
Have they all left Instagram?
No.
Okay, so there's still some of them there.
Yeah.
So the parents haven't caught up with that yet. And we've talked about that before. You tell me if this is still kind of the methodology. So young people were on MySpace.
Yes.
Parents went to MySpace. Young people left.
Did the parents ever go to MySpace?
I think some of them tried to.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's why the whole thing died, right? So the young people then went to Facebook.
Yes.
Parents found them.
Yep.
Kids left.
Yep.
They went to Instagram.
Yep.
So Facebook bought Instagram.
Yep.
Right? The kids seem to just be one step ahead of the parents all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So now they're
but
at
the parents
TikTok.
haven't figured out TikTok yet.
Well, something, I go on there every once in a while and I don't ever see any news.
Oh, see, but it's all like your custom page. That's all that's on my page is like housing updates and realtors and this and that and
Really?
yeah, and news clips and
So obviously I figured out how to get on there, just not how to use it.
yeah, I don't watch the news, but I get information from TikTok like that of like what's being said and circulated.
So then the question becomes, what you're seeing on TikTok, maybe that's why we can't find it.
Yeah, you
we
guys
can't
can't
say
say
it. The stuff that you're seeing on TikTok, do you find it to be accurate?
Some, yes.
Okay.
I think there's some like good experts with good information on there trying to break it down.
Okay. So that's good to know at least.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I see is, I watch what's the guy that has the ventriloquist? He's on there all the time. I see comedy on there.
I get a lot of comedy too.
Okay, so
comedy
so
and real estate news.
What's that say about us? Okay, so at least maybe there's some decent stuff there. And Diana Olick probably hasn't figured that out because she hasn't figured out real estate even. So that's a whole different story. FHFA, month over month percentage change in home values. And I love FHFA just because they actually go and they're talking about the house on the street, whereas median is just the mix of properties. This is actually 123 Main Street sold 5 years ago for X, and it sold this year for Y. That means you got an appreciation value. So we look at this one. Last year was too hot again the first 6 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Only came down, though, for 2 months. And then, I guess 4 out of the last 6 it was down.
Yeah.
But this year, that chart almost looks like a normal year's chart.
Mm-hmm.
So FHFA is saying values are not going down. They're just kind of doing what they always do.
Yes.
And that's pretty good. Now we look at Case Shiller and CoreLogic. They're all saying the same exact thing month over month. They're all in positive areas. So we shouldn't be really thinking that prices are going to drop.
No.
But yet I still hear so many people say, I don't want to buy a house right now because value is going to drop.
That's what everyone keeps saying. Like, I think buyers, consumers, but any agent will tell you if you can buy now and afford to buy now, do it. Because if and when rates go down, you can always refinance. But as soon as rates go down, prices are going to shoot back up. We already saw that during the pandemic
Right.
and what happened there. It's going to repeat itself if rates come down a little bit.
So let's throw that. I don't want to get the scare tactic out there, but maybe we will. Actually, I better wait till we come back because I just noticed that I've already talked too much. So we're gonna talk about the scare tactics, and I want to talk about what really happened during the pandemic, and do you want to experience that again? Not during the health side, but do you want to wait for that to come back? And does Mary think it's going to come back? You can reach me anytime off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
79% of all credit reports have errors that should be corrected through factual disputing. You could be saving thousands every year if your report was accurate. CreditSanitizer.com provides a free credit report audit when you furnish a specific $1 credit report. You can use this information to request corrections to your report and potentially save thousands of dollars. Get your free credit audit at CreditSanitizer.com. That's CreditSanitizer.com for a free credit report audit. CreditSanitizer.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Latest 2024 housing market forecast. The new year is right around the corner, and you might be wondering if 2024 will be the right time to buy or sell a home. If you want to make the most informed decision possible, it's important to know what the experts have to say about what's ahead for the housing market. Spoiler alert, the projections may be better than you think, and here's why. Experts forecast ongoing home price appreciation. That's like up. Take a look at the latest home price forecast from Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association, and the National Association of Realtors. Home price forecast for 2023 and 2024. Put them all together, they say 2023 is 2.8%, 2024 1.5%. Let's see, 2020 Fannie Mae says 6.7% for 2023, 2.8 for 2024. MBA 1.5 and 1.1, NAR 0.1 and 0.7. As you can see, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials, the orange bars on the left, on the average, experts forecast price will be up 2.8% overall and increase by another 1.5% by the end of 2024. Big news, considering so many people thought prices would crash this year. The truth is, prices didn't come tumbling way down in 2023, and that's because there just was not enough homes for sale compared to the number of people who wanted or needed to buy them, and that inventory crunch is still very real. This is the general rule of supply and demand. Works every time. And it continues to put upward pressure on prices as we move into the new year. Looking forward, experts project home prices will continue to rise next year, but not quite as much as they did this year, even though the expected rise in 2024 isn't as big as the 2023. It's important to understand home price appreciation is cumulative. In simpler terms, this means if experts are right, according to the national average, after your home's value goes up by 2.8 this year, it should go up another 1.5 next year. That ongoing price growth is a big part of why owning a home can be a smart decision in the long run. Projection shows sales should increase slightly next year, while 2023 hasn't been a lot of home sales relative. Well, 2023 hasn't seen a lot of home sales relative to more normal years in the housing market. Experts are forecasting a bit more activity next year. Here's what those same three organizations project for the rest of this year in 2024. A lot of home sales. Now, you can see that graph if you're watching us again. While expectations are for just a slight uptick in total sales, improved activity next year is a good thing for the housing market and for buyers and sellers like you. As people continue to move, that opens up options for hopeful buyers who are looking for a home. So what do these forecasts show? The housing market is expected to be more active in 2024. That may be in part because there will always be people who need to move, people who get new jobs, have children, get married or divorced, and these other major life changes lead people to move regardless of housing market conditions. That will remain true next year and for years to come. And if mortgage rates come down, we'll see even more activity in the housing market. Bottom line, if you're thinking about buying or selling, it's important to know what the experts are forecasting for the future of the housing market. When you're in the know about what's ahead, you can make the most informed decisions possible. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, and we can chat about this. I will share with you, those forecasts are hogwash. We're already seeing that interest rates are coming down and they're going to continue to come down. So we're already seeing that. As that happens, there's going to be more people that are going to say, well, I'm going to go buy a house because they can afford it. That means more demand. When there's more demand, unless we get more supply, prices go up even faster. Real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Okay, Mary, do you think I'm on that? Or am I missing something there? Interest rates come down.
Yeah, I will always say if you can afford to buy, do it when you can.
Go do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand where they're coming from. So here's the question that I want to go back to from when I was talking too much last segment. 2 years ago during the pandemic, the biggest gripe I heard, maybe you heard something different, was people were getting outbid on everything they went to try and buy.
Yep.
That's the biggest problem, right? Not enough inventory.
Yep.
And, people would have to make 5, 10, 20, 30 offers.
Mm-hmm.
Properties would get 100 offers.
Yeah, ask.
Over ask, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That was because the properties that were out there were affordable. People could afford to buy them because interest rates were so low.
Yes.
Right? So if interest rates continue to go down, and we just saw that the markets are forecasting the Federal Reserve to drop interest rates, two things are going to happen. Number one, affordability is going to get better.
Yes.
More buyers?
Yep.
Okay. People that were renting are going to say, I'm not going to rent anymore. I'm not looking to live with mom and dad anymore.
Yep.
Right? Go buy my own.
Yep.
Question that we have to really ponder, though, is will it entice the seller that's got a 4% mortgage? If they can go out and get a 5.5 or 6% mortgage, will they move?
It's more enticing than it is now. It's at least more, stomachable.
Palatable.
Yeah. Stomachable.
You can stomach it there.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, because right now, if you've got a 4%, you're not going to go to an 8.
No.
Unless you have to.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a 4, 5.5, 6, in order to get rid of that 5-bedroom house, you only need 3 bedrooms or 2.
Yeah, or to go the opposite, you need to upgrade.
Or you need to upgrade.
Yeah, it's more easier to stomach.
You can do those things. And you might keep that old one. That doesn't help us with, if you keep the old one and buy a new one because you can afford it now.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't really help us with the inventory problem.
Doesn't help us with the supply side.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and now we're building more demand and didn't help supply. So prices go up.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you this question. Have you ever posed this? Probably not, because I'm old and this is my way of talking. So when your friends are saying, I'm going to wait for prices to come down because they hear about a recession, which we're probably going to be in one by the second quarter of next year. Mm-hmm. You and I have talked about this. Your generation remembers one recession.
Yes.
You don't remember the 2020 recession.
No.
That was just kind of a blip because it was kind of goofy, right? An anomaly. 2008, you watched a lot of real estate problems.
Yep.
That wasn't really but I say that was real estate caused it. It wasn't recession didn't cause the prices to go down.
Correct.
So here's the question. I throw this out all the time. What's going to be the catalyst that millennials or others see for real estate values to drop?
Personally, I don't see it.
But what about your friends, peers? They
don't have anything to back it up, though. They're just saying they're waiting, but there's nothing to back it up that's going to cause it to drop.
And that's the whole issue. So it's kind of a misconception.
Yes.
How do we educate people? I guess we have to do more TikToks.
Apparently.
Right, to say,
Get
hey,
on it, Ron.
Yeah, just that's a video thing, though. I don't think anyone wants to see my face on TikTok. Right?
That's right. That's why you say you do radio.
That's right. I got a face for radio. Okay, let's take a look and see what Case-Shiller home price movement, August 2023. It's yes, we know that we're in November, but Case-Shiller always gives us the older information. August 2023, I'm looking at their chart for month over month percentage appreciation in the top 20 cities. I don't see any red on that chart.
No.
Right? Top 20 cities, every one of them is up.
There's only one that's not, and it's Cleveland. It's flat.
Okay, Cleveland's flat. We're in California, so I can say it. Who wants to move to Cleveland? Right? I mean, but for the whole country, it's up 0.9%, according to Case-Shiller. Everything we see, prices are up. FHFA, month over month price change. By region, we're up 1.1% for the Pacific. South Atlantic. So that would probably be Florida and area. They're down a little bit. I can't imagine why Florida's down, but that's what it says. Black Knight, for the second month in a row, home price growth trended higher in every one of the 50 largest U.S. markets. I think we qualify for that.
Yes.
Prices are up. Selma Happ, chief economist. Nevertheless, home prices are still expected to re-accelerate. Chapman University, did you hear that? Diana Olick, did you hear that? Re-accelerate. Let's take a look, Josh, at slide 13. That's the chart that we were just looking at before, Mary, about the way prices on a month over month go. Mm-hmm. Right? And if you look at that, we're kind of right in line, aren't we?
Yes.
I think did you go one back, Josh? It shows us every month what prices appreciate on a historic basis. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, that's just, we're in a very, very normal appreciation market.
Yes.
So let's not get ahead of ourselves. 49-year average versus 2023. What do you know? 2023 looks almost identical, except for January to, I mean, folks, if you're thinking the prices are going to go down, somebody tell me a catalyst. I've asked this all the time. I don't get anybody. Give me the catalyst of what's going to bring prices down. We're going to get a bunch of foreclosures and defaults.
No.
Why?
There's too much equity out there.
Explain that a little, Mary.
People have so much equity in their property, they can sell before it ever goes to foreclosure if they really need to, if they get to that point.
Right. So they can call you and say,
yeah, nobody's underwater in their home.
And that's the catalyst for going the wrong way.
Yes.
Okay, so just remember, people don't go into foreclosure if you've got a bunch of equity. Call Mary. She'll help you get your property sold. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat a little bit about historic mortgage rates, where they are. Are we really out of line? And what about multi-generational living? We'll talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Is your budget getting blown up with high prices of gas and increased costs for other household needs? This is Ron Siegel, host of the daily Home and Finance radio program. Did you know if you have a low interest rate mortgage along with auto debt, credit card debt, or student loans, your family could potentially save $500 or more per month by restructuring these debts? If you'd like a free Borrow Smart analysis with our team, let's book an appointment to see how we might be able to relieve some stress. Schedule an appointment at rsrbsa.com. That's rsrbsa.com for your free Borrow Smart analysis. rsrbsa.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So let's chat. We're going to continue our conversation with Mary Gaston, Realty Pro 100, the millennial and the old man, talking about what's going on in the real estate world right now. Let's talk a little bit about mortgage rates. Just we're not going to do a whole lot on that because I want to get to talk to Mary about the millennial perspective on multi-generational living, historical perspective on today's mortgage rates. So I don't know what did we say earlier, Josh? That we're right around on a 30-year conforming 7.338 is where we are right now today. 7.338. And if we look at this chart that we have, and again, you got to watch the radio program or go back and check us out, ronsiegelradio.com in the archives. 30-year rate, okay, so 7.338. Last year, we were just under 7, but up every other year going back, we're down in the low, below 5. I guess it was 2018, we were in the 5s. But other than that, for a long time, we were 4 below.
No, even 2018, it looks like we were under 5.
Were we under 5? You're right. You're right. I can't see. So under 5 from all, going back, what do we have? 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2016 on, we're below 5.
Mm-hmm.
So 22, 23, we're above there. So, historically, okay, I get it that, especially millennials, you guys don't know.
Yeah, to me, that's normal.
What?
An interest rate, like a 4 to 5%.
4 or 5%. That's normal.
5% is normal.
Right. So historically, if we go back decades, and Josh, throw up slide 19, I think is what I've got it as. As of November 5th, historically, you go through the whole average there, 7.38.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise you a little?
Yeah, that's basically where we are today.
That's where we are today. We're right at the norm. But as a millennial, most millennials have no clue that that's a normal interest rate.
Yes.
Right? You're thinking, half of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you're at sticker shock.
Yes.
Is there any way of educating beyond that, or is it just, hey, you can tell me that inflation is down, but I don't feel it at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me interest rates normally are at 7. I don't feel it. I don't see it
mm-hmm.
because this is my point of view.
Yes.
Is that where?
Yeah, and I think the millennials and everything that goes around is they say, well, yeah, our parents might have paid 18% back in the day, but also their wages were different and the cost of homes were different.
Sure.
Like historically, there's not such big of a jump,
right?
Which I get. It makes it much more difficult when prices are so high to also have a high interest rate,
right?
But again, I will always say, if you can afford to buy, do it, because your parents bought that home 40 years ago for $100,000. It's now worth $1 million.
Okay, we're
Prices
chatting.
Will always go up.
We're chatting right now with a lady that's in her later years of life,
mm-hmm.
paid $15,000 for her house, and right now the value of it is $1 million.
Yep.
Now I want to ask you this question because I heard this growing up. I've said it. Are you hearing? If I would just have kept that first house.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that?
Yep. People say that all the time.
And I think you're the only one I know that's done it, Mary.
I am. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, because so many people say that exact thing. And we look right now, and 17% of the people who responded to a report say they're planning to buy a home in the next 12 months.
Yeah. And I'll even say, when I bought my house too, I always say, buy when you can afford. I couldn't afford it. I had to get a cosigner. I got a cosigner, got a roommate to move into an extra room, and I made it work.
That's an interesting point because so many people, we're hearing this all the time. Well, I've got to have the perfect house.
Mm-hmm.
My first house is going to be a forever house.
That's a nice dream.
Right. But again, it's not reality.
Yes.
And so we talked about this yesterday. You and I have talked about it in the past. If you can have 5 pieces of property by the time you're 50. Mm-hmm. I should ask you a different question. Do you have a goal as to how many pieces of property you want to have by maybe you're 40, 50 years old?
You know what? I don't. I should, but I don't.
Okay. Just whatever you find that makes sense.
Exactly. Like, we're comfortable with what we have right now. I've talked to my husband, and the next few years or so, we're probably going to start doing some 1031s with the property we do have and try to trade them into like fourplexes and such. But
okay,
right now we're just comfortable.
Comfortable.
Tight.
Stay where why not?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Stay exactly where you are. What is when my perspective, I look at, I've got one perspective on multi-generational living.
Mhm.
What is a millennial perspective on multi-generational living?
So do you mean like multi-generational houses or like just literally living with my family?
Living with your family.
See, that's something I probably couldn't stomach.
Okay.
But I look at all these like new homes and everything, they're building them for multi-generational family. So me, I see that more as an opportunity. If you can afford that house that has a little attached mother-in-law, unit, buy it, live in it, rent out the little mother-in-law unit.
Okay. So
Like
as long as
that's
it's
how I view
separate.
it. Yes. That's how I view it. That way someone's not like living in your property. It's almost like a little mini duplex.
But here's the question though, and
Sorry,
I know
I didn't really answer your actual question.
no, because I like that.
Mhm.
But you're a newlywed still,
Yes.
of course, based on someone old like me,
Mhm.
and you've got a young child.
Yes.
Would you ever consider having an in-law living with you to help with taking care of the baby?
I would.
Okay. Do most millennials think that way, or they say, you know something, I'd rather, because daycare, from what I understand, is outrageously expensive.
It is. And that is why I think a lot of people would sort of consider it, because at this point it's hard for millennials to have, two like income household and for both parents to be working.
It almost is the point, from what I see and hear. You have a 2-income household. If you're dealing with childcare,
Mhm.
one income is just going for childcare.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to go back to TikTok, but an example on TikTok yesterday was the person went out, got a job, $65,000 after taxes and daycare. Their take home pay was maybe $18,000 a year
Wow.
off of $65,000. And they said, is it even worth it for the $1,500 a month I'm bringing in?
Yeah, and that's a good question,
Mhm.
right? Because if they can get a family member to help,
Mhm.
maybe that means that family member is not going to be working then. Or the other side of it is you look at it and say, I don't know the legalities of it because I haven't looked at it. Does it then become possible to be a babysitter?
Mhm.
Does that happen even at all? Where you've got, instead of someone going back to work, they've got a new baby and they're taking care of somebody else's baby and charging them some.
Mhm. I've seen people do that.
Okay, so the idea of multi-generations in the same house,
Mhm.
you don't see that as much as what some of the forecasters are talking about.
I haven't. I think for the most part, it's more just about, I hear about just having family close by, but I don't hear a lot about families actually moving in together to do that.
Okay, so now going back to what you were saying before, though, the other side of it is
Mhm.
multi-unit housing, because you were just talking about the idea.
Yes. A lot of the builders I see are putting in like mother-in-law suites
Okay,
in these single family residences. So I always say, if you can afford that home and you can get the little mother-in-law suite that has a separate entrance, buy that one. Live in the main part of the house, rent out the little mother-in-law suite as a little mini bedroom or apartment or whatever it comes with, and make income off your primary residence.
that helps it because you're getting the appreciation.
Correct.
The other one is the new rules on fourplex or twoplex,
Yes.
threeplex, fourplex.
Mhm.
Now, buy that to live in it.
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine being able to go out and buy a $1.3 million property, fourplex, and only need to put $65,000 down as long as you're living in one out of the four?
Yeah.
Right, think about it. Now, Orange County, California. I don't know if you can find a $1.3 million fourplex,
Mhm.
but think about this concept, because you can even do this in Riverside, and their appreciation is not as high, but 1.3 million. You've got a 5% down. My math is correct. If my math is correct, that's $65,000.
Okay.
$1.3 million if you've got a 5% appreciation, probably 65,000 also,
Mhm.
right? If 5% down and 5% appreciation, same number.
Yep.
You're going to basically have your cash on cash return 1 year.
Mhm.
Where else do you get that?
Exactly.
Right? And you got some other people are paying 3 out of the 4 units.
Yes.
Is that a millennial idea?
I would say do it.
Find it.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, call Mary. She'll get her out there looking for fourplexes for you, and find somebody to help you with that $65,000 down payment.
Absolutely.
Right? And get on your way. Just a thought for you. Great information. If you have any questions, you want to meet any of our guests, give me a call at any time, 800-306-1990. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting our house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.